Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are here with, we're going to be here with Harley Brown for 7 Essential Art Truths. My name is Carrie, and we'll be starting here in a few minutes. We are giving away some prizes today, so you need to make sure that you are present in the chat to take part in that. So make sure you're in there chatting. Let's start with where you're watching from today. I did see that we had Lynn Diefenbach watching from Australia, where it's 4 in the morning. So thanks for joining us, Lynn. We're going to be giving everyone a few more minutes to get logged in, and we'll be getting started here in about 5 minutes. For those of you, hopefully you guys all have great internet connections. If for some reason things are lagging or not working properly, try refreshing your browser. That usually will fix problems 99% of the time. So hopefully there won't be any issues, but if there are, there will be a replay today. So we will get back to you guys in just a few minutes. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. If you are just getting here, welcome. We're so glad you're here with us today. My name is Carrie Stober. I have been with Streamline for about 12 years now, and I'm the marketing project manager as well as the Plein Air Salon art competition manager. And most recently, the community ambassador for Pastel Today, our weekly e-newsletter for Pastel artists. In case you're new to Streamline, Streamline is the publisher of several art magazines and newsletters, art events, conventions, retreats, and has produced over 600 instruction art videos, courses on videos, what I was trying to say. Before we get started, a little housekeeping note. If you guys have any issues with lagging or things not working properly, try refreshing your browser. That will usually fix the problem 99% of the time. If for some reason there's an issue, there will be a replay, so you don't have to worry about that. I would like to give away some things because that's the most fun thing to do, right? Is to give stuff away. A lot of you guys have typed in where you are watching from. A lot of people from Canada. So hello, Canada. I saw we've got Lynn Diefenbach from Australia. I think she might be the furthest away. So yeah, welcome everyone. So excited to see all of you guys there in the chat. So let's give some stuff away. If I call your name, type "I'm here" in the chat and then send me an email at winner@streamlinepublishing.com. That way we can get you the copy of what you're about to get. The first thing that I want to give away today is a new video that we have. It is from Kyle Buckland. It is Courageous Design, Unleashing Your Creativity with Bold Brushwork. This is a fun new video. And the winner is going to be Norma Anderson. Congratulations, Norma Anderson. If you are watching, make sure you type "I'm here" in the chat and send me an email so I can get you that video. Next video I want to give away is one of our best sellers from this year. It is by Cami Mendlick called Mastering Water, The Secrets of Color and Reflection. And it's actually a companion to her step-by-step book. It's her best-selling book, Color Relativity, which helps you create the illusion of light with paint. So be sure to check that. Be sure to check that out. We'll drop a link to that in the chat. And the winner of Cami's video is going to be Tim Williams. Congratulations, Tim. You are the proud owner of a streaming copy of Cami's new video. Make sure you type "I'm here" in the chat and send me an email so I can get that to you. And my last giveaway for this morning as we get started before the show is going to be a video that I watched recently. And that is Larry Moore's new video course, also a best-selling video for this year, the creativity course, Finding Your Unique Painting Language. And the biggest thing for this is this applies to any artist. It does not matter what medium you paint in. The first 15 minutes alone are just incredible. So I highly encourage you to get this, especially if you're stuck and trying to figure out some new ways to move forward or find a new path, just anything like that. I really encourage this video. So the winner of this video is going to be Elaine Woods. Congratulations, Elaine. You have won Larry Moore's creativity course streaming video. So type "I'm here" in the chats and let's get started with some other things. We are going to have some more giveaways throughout the show, so make sure you hang out in the chat. That is where we pull our winners from, so you have to be present to win. And a reminder for those that have just joined us, if you have any technical issues, refresh your browsers. That'll fix most issues. And then there will be a replay sent to you after the show if for some reason you're unable to watch. We are going to have a Q&A with Harley today after the show. So if you've got any questions that pop up during the show, drop those in the chat and we will get those during our Q&A session at the end. So welcome everyone to 7 Essential Art Truths with Harley Brown. Harley is a pioneer of the pastel movement with over 70 years of experience. He has been an instructor and a mentor to many artists throughout the years and impressed upon his students to pass on knowledge to future generations. His last in-person workshop was held all the way back in the 1900s. That's what my kids like to call it. It was 1999 and it was titled Harley's Last Stand. And most of you probably know Eric Rhoads, but we've had thousands of new people sign up who might not know him. Eric is the founder of Streamline Publishing, the only artist-owned art magazine company. Over 2 decades ago, he became a plein air painter and started Plein Air Magazine and later Fine Art Connoisseur Magazine. Today, we also have multiple art newsletters, including Realism Today, Fine Art Today, American Watercolor, Plein Air Today, and for my fellow pastel painters, we have Pastel Today, which is like I said, our weekly newsletter for pastel artists. And Eric is also the host of the Plein Air Convention, as well as artist retreats like Fall Color Week, which is going to be this fall in Carmel in the Monterey area, and then the Publishers Invitational in the Adirondacks, and a new winter event being announced soon, which I do not know of yet. So I'm super excited to hear what that's going to be. He has also hosted our online art conferences. We have Pastel Live, Realism Live, Watercolor Live, Plein Air Live, and our newest event coming up in March is going to be Acrylic Live. And if you are able to attend those, I really encourage it. It's a lot of fun to go to those. You get 25 artists all in one shot over 3 days, 4 days if you attend Essential Techniques Day. So we'll talk more about that later. But if you have watched Eric on his YouTube channel, that's Art School Live. We do weekdays. He started this during the pandemic, and millions have discovered art techniques from the show and have even become artists themselves. We do it every weekday on YouTube at noon Eastern, and you can find that by searching Art School Live on YouTube. Eric is also passionate about making art. He is a landscape and portrait artist who's been painting for almost 3 decades and has worked in 3 different galleries. If you'd like to follow him on Instagram, his handle is at Eric Rhoads, and that's Rhoads. When Eric was learning to paint, he bought some instructional videos and felt they could be better, so he launched PaintTube.tv, which now has over 600 art instruction videos from artists around the world and all the leading masters. Eric is the author of 2 best-selling books, one of which is Make More Money Selling Your Art, and he has several art marketing courses on PaintTube as well, which you should check out. He's been featured in New York Times, LA Times, Chicago Tribune, Entrepreneur Magazine, Inc. Magazine, Success Magazine, Wall Street Journal, and over 400 newspapers, radio, and TV stations. And without further ado, here's your host, Eric Rhoads.
Carrie, I got to ask you a question.
Sure.
Is it before noon there? You said this morning.
I did say this morning. It's 12:07.
Oh, it is 12. Okay.
Almost this morning.
Carrie, tell everybody where you live.
I live in Wellington, Colorado, which is almost to the border of Wyoming.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that up near Fort Collins?
Yes, it is, just north of Fort Collins. I lived there for, 15 years and went to school there.
I would just like to publicly give you props.
Thank you.
Carrie's been with the company for 12 years, and she's one of those people who she started out in just kind of a regular position somewhere.
I was a temp.
You were what?
I was a temp doing data entry.
You were a temp, and now you're basically running tons of things. As you guys probably know, we're a marketing machine, and Carrie is at the foundation of that marketing machine. She also runs our Plein Air Salon art competition, which is growing. And recently, because she's so passionate about pastel painting, she's been like, you guys need to do more stuff for pastel. And we're like, well, what do you recommend? She said, well, I want to become an ambassador for pastel for Streamline. And she said, I want to start writing about like the things that are happening in the pastel world for Pastel Today and updating like what's happening in the groups and stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Carrie?
There are times where pastel kind of seems like it's the lesser of all the mediums, doesn't quite get as much attention. And so as a pastel artist, I just wanted to do what I could to try to bring more attention to pastel. Kelly does a great job writing articles about artists, shows, things like that are happening around the country. And I wanted to add to that by reaching out to pastel societies around the country to see what kinds of things they're doing, promoting those things in the newsletters, trying to draw more attention to societies, different shows, things like that, just events, or also when Dakota is having a fabulous sale on pastels. So just little things like that, just to try to draw more attention to what's going on in the pastel community.
Okay. Well, you got your plug in there for somebody. Well, Carrie, you're doing a great job. Thank you so much. And Carrie has been filling in from time to time on my Art School Live program. I had to go to Dayton, Ohio on, what was it, Tuesday.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. And so she filled in for me and did a great job. And everybody said, just bring Carrie on. You don't need to do this anymore. So I guess, Carrie, you're going to become the new host. Anyway, thank you for doing it. You did a terrific job.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Okay. Well, we're pretty excited about today, and I thank you guys for tuning in. We literally have thousands of people watching, and that's pretty exciting when you can get thousands of people watching. But it's not about us; it's about Harley Brown. Today, we're going to have 7 essential art truths with Harley, and every time we do one of these things, my goal is to over deliver, to give you more than you expect. Um, we hope that you can walk away today with just one thing that'll make you a better artist, or to get you inspired, or to get you moving in the right direction. But, if there's anything I've learned over my decades of being in the art world and being an art publisher, it's a tiny realization is important. One tiny realization can make a big difference. And maybe you'll have more than one. Maybe you'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 20. You never know. So I encourage you guys to listen carefully. Today is monumental for 3 reasons, and maybe more. First, Harley Brown is here. That's monumental in itself. Harley's a true pioneer. He's been in the art world and has a legacy that spans, get this, over 70 years. I mean, who does that? That's pretty incredible. He's inspired and mentored many of today's most acclaimed masters, and his influence can be seen in countless artists because of all he's been able to do over the years. Secondly, Harley no longer teaches workshops anymore, but when he did, they would sell out, at the blink of an eye, because everybody was lining up to study under him. And that brings us to the third most exciting reason, and that is, for the first time in 25 years, Harley is back. He's kind of come out of hiding, so to speak, and retirement, if you will, to do this for us today, because we asked him. We got on the phone with him and his daughter the other day, and basically said, what have you learned over 70 years of painting? And he started rattling things off that we're like, everybody needs to hear this. So Harley, we're gonna get to you here in a second. 70 years is pretty amazing, and these truths are pretty amazing. And hopefully they're going to save you from frustration or discouragement, or give you some ideas and maybe make you a better painter. So if you're struggling right now, I want you to know that being here today says an awful lot about you. It says that you're ready for change, that you're willing to look for solutions, that you're serious about creating art that's authentic and true to you. And that's really important, because it's got to be about you. You got to find your own style. And if you're the kind of person who is like I was, if you're sick and tired of pouring in countless hours to improve and want to do something differently, so you're not, what did Einstein say? Repeating the same mistakes over and over again, expecting different results. A lot of us get stuck in the same routine, creating the same old artwork and wondering if we're going to be as good as we hope we can be. So it's moments like this today that I feel like I'm kind of the luckiest person in the world. I just love my gig, my job. I love what I do. I've had the pleasure of getting to know, or paint with, or be painted by some of the greatest artists in the world. Some of the greatest artists of our generation, some who are not with us anymore, like Richard Schmidt or Daniel Green or Nelson Shanks and numerous others. I've had the chance to plein air paint around the world, to go backstage, if you will, behind the scenes at museums. I actually had an art show in my honor, in my name, at the Hermitage Museum, put on by the director of the Hermitage. That was so cool when they took me up there and there was my name on the show. And so I feel like I've got the coolest job in the world. And I just feel like I've been blessed with a really terrific lifestyle. And I think that what has happened is, somebody said to me recently, if you're doing things for others and you're not making it about yourself, it changes everything and things explode. And I kind of feel like that's what's happened, because we are driven. Now, Carrie mentioned my background, and you guys probably heard it all, and I'm not going to tell you the story, but I will tell you a little bit. And that is, I wanted to learn to paint since I was in since I was in the 4th grade, when there was a kid next to me who was drawing, and he was doing beautiful cartoons and things. I thought, I wish I could do that. And I tried, but I just couldn't do it. I had later in life, I decided I was going to learn to paint. My wife bought me my first painting lesson. It was a disaster. I gave up. And then a year or so later, I decided I'd try again. It too was a disaster, and I gave up again. And then finally, I found an instructor who was really good and who really understood that you can't discourage people. I had one instructor come up to me and say, I've had a lot of students. You really don't have the talent. You don't have what it takes. You really shouldn't be doing this. And yet today, I have work in 3 art galleries, and I have a big show of my work coming up. I'm teaching online. I'm teaching workshops. I've done videos. And so it just says that if you're persistent, if you decide you want something, you can do it. And the thing is that I got to the point where I believed early on that I didn't have the talent. But it's not about talent. It's about finding uh, a process and learning the process, and that's what this is all about. Now, during COVID, I set a goal. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but I set a goal. I came on right when COVID began, first week, and I said I'm going to do a show just to keep everybody busy and occupied and do something to um, to to help them out. And I set a goal of teaching 1 million people to paint, and we blew through that goal. I never really even believed that we would get to 1 million people painting. And the YouTube show has taught several million. Some episodes have views of 300,000. Um, and so the best part has been that I get to hear from you guys, and you've been sending emails and notes and text message and Instagram messages and stuff, Facebook messages, and you're telling me your stories. And I'm hearing literally from hundreds of you around the world, really thousands of you who have learned to paint, or maybe you were that person who wanted to paint when you were a teenager and your parents said, well, I'm not sending you to art school. You need to get a real job so you can make a real living. Sound familiar? I know, because it happened to my own brother. And so I think that um, it's really important to realize you can do this. You don't have to have talent. And there is a step-by-step process. And we've had people tell us they've had dreams of becoming working professional artists. And they've accomplished those dreams, and we've been able to help them. So our goal is to help keep you moving forward, to inspire you, to teach you, to give you things that will be fun to do, to meet other people. Um, I think that we can get better together, right? We can get better together. So the reason we're here today is because a lot of people have been asking me, like, how do you get your creativity flowing? Sometimes it just kind of poof, it's gone, and you don't feel like painting or drawing. How did my inspiration dry up? Or you're not feeling it, or you don't feel like you're getting any better. You don't feel like you're getting to the next level. So here's a harsh reality. I don't like having to say this, but most of the thousands of people who are watching here today could be brilliant painters, but never will be, because they don't understand the basic principles of getting out of a rut or pushing themselves to the next level. And that's what we really want to do. And I hope to change that for you today. So in the comments, I want you guys to get involved and tell us, but how many in the comments are like ready to break your rut, ready to get to the next level? Go ahead and put something in there. I'd love to see that. Now, no matter what we do today, some of you are still going to ignore what we say. And I got to tell you, this stuff is proven to work. It's proven to help you. And, a lot of people are just going to look at it from a negative standpoint and go, oh, it won't work for me. Yeah, it will. It will. Just put your preconceived notions aside and say, you know what? I'm just going to try some things. Now, here is a little secret though. You got to want it. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? You got to be sick and tired of not getting to that level. I had such a problem. I got so stuck, and I just tried everything. I practiced more. I just did everything I could, and nothing worked. And then somebody told me about something I should do, and I thought, well, I don't really believe that, but I'll try it. And I did it. And it pushed me to another level. And then I got stuck again. It's like when we get stuck, that's when we're about to break through. So anybody stuck, go into the comments. Are you sick enough of this and being stuck, and you want to get to the next level? Go into the comments and say something about it. Now, if you're one of those people who hasn't, if you've been trying hard and you haven't got there, just know it's not your fault, right? It is society. For some reason, and I don't get this, maybe you get it, but if somebody says, I'm a doctor, and everybody says, oh, like they're the most brilliant doctor, the most brilliant heart surgeon in the world, we know that they didn't have natural talent. They went to medical school, they suffered through all the different years of study and internships and making sure that they learned everything. And then maybe after they practiced a lot, that's when their true talent comes out and they got even better. Maybe somebody's got a steadier hand or something. But the people believe that you have to have natural talent to become an artist. We don't believe it about doctors or lawyers. We don't even believe it about concert pianists, but we believe that you have to have natural talent to be an artist. Yet every artist in the world, going way back to Rembrandt or way back before that, or Vermeer or the Impressionists, every single one of those artists struggled. Every single one of them did not have natural talent. Now, we look back on them, we say, oh, they were really super talented. Yeah, they were talented because they learned, they studied, they applied themselves, and they got themselves to the next level, right? And that's what this is really all about. So you can practice, but there's one thing you got to remember. How many people, raise your hand, go into the comments, how many have ever heard the term practice makes perfect? You know what? Practice makes perfect is a big, fat, stinking lie. Practice makes permanence. If I go to the golf course and I practice a bad golf swing, it is hard for me to break that bad golf swing. I'm not a golfer anymore, so maybe that's not a good analogy, but the idea is that practice makes permanence. So if you're not practicing perfection, if you're not practicing from great mentors, then what you're going to do is you're going to be practicing mediocrity, right? And you want to get beyond it. We've all been there. I've been there, and I get there every once in a while. I hit another ceiling. So today we're going to show you how you can overcome some of those frustrations and take yourself as far as you can dream. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. But your life can look a lot different than it does now. So go into the comments right now. What would your dream scenario be as an artist? What if you had dream big, dream the impossible dream? What would your scenario be as an artist? Put it in the comments right now. Maybe it's I'd just like to travel the world and paint, or maybe it's I'd like to hang in a permanent collection of a great collector or a museum. Or maybe you just would like to make enough money so you don't have to struggle to pay your bills, or you don't have to worry about how to make ends meet. Or maybe you'd like to never tire of hearing compliments about how wonderful your work is. I went through a period of time when, people would come up to me and they go, Eric, really nice work. And you're like, they're lying, man. They're lying. You could just see it. They're trying to say something nice. And then I did a couple of things and I changed the way that I painted. And all of a sudden people were coming up to me and saying, who painted that? Do you know the artist? I said, I painted that. And they, no, you didn't do that. Right. Those are the unsolicited compliments. That's when you know you're on the right path. So who wants to get unsolicited compliments? Do you ever dream about your name being a part of art history? I have to admit, I do it. I'm sitting there painting and I'm thinking, this is really good. Maybe this will end up in a museum someday, and so I know it seems foolish, but I have dreams like that. So today we're going to help you overcome your issues. And part of what we're going to do is give you some really incredible tips from 70 years. So here's what the next hour looks like. I'm going to bring on my guest who's been painting for 7 decades. Like I said, who does that? That's amazing. He's won every imaginable award. He's written multiple books. We're going to reveal some of how you can improve and speed your growth as an artist. And I suggest that you really pay attention. If you're off on your phone, if you're checking a website, if you're doing other things, you're going to miss something. I guarantee it. We cannot multitask. So just stay focused. If you want this bad enough, if you want to get to the next level bad enough, stay focused. And of course, if you have, if you're at work or something and you can't watch it all, we will send a replay for you tonight. okay, if you signed up. Sound like a plan? So remember, at the end, I'm going to give away more prizes, and including, get this, I'm going to give away a ticket to the plein air convention in Lake Tahoe, which is, I think, the largest artist gathering on earth in person. All right. Now I want to introduce our guest for today. Harley's not only a friend to the art and artist, he's open to the marginalized and all who wish they could strike up a conversation. He is very generous. He's giving of his time to his friends and his fellow artists who need encouragement and support and a quick aesthetic lesson. He believes that everyone, to some extent, can learn to draw and paint and is willing to spend time to help them confirm that. That's why he's here today. He's taught in Canada, the United States, and further abroad to support fellow artists. His books are sought after because they don't just compile his brilliant art. He shows eternal truths for every artist, engaging artists through its foundational approach to art. Critics say that Harley is an inspiring painter and a mentor, and others call him a legacy. I would be one. I would say he is a legacy. We're so honored to have him today. His Confessions of a Starving Artist includes some of his impressive collection of art. Equally compelling is the raw insight of his lived experiences and the fact that art has always been the driving force behind his happiness and his success, and his books validate why he stands up. He wants to help others embrace art. That's why he's here, to find your inner vision, your imagination, and he encourages those individuals to immerse themselves into an artistic genre that will elevate their lives. He's not just an artist, he's a legend. He encourages all other artists without reservation or fear of competition. I'm so excited. Please, everyone, give thumbs up and applause. Meet Harley Brown. Harley, we're so glad that you are here, man.
And I applaud all of the people watching.
Well, this is a monumental occasion. Why is it you decided to come out of hiding to do this today?
Well, it's one of those things where you have to almost be shocked into it. Oh yeah, okay, I'll do it. And I didn't know I was that smart till that buildup. It's kind of a thing where you like to talk about where you've been, how you've gotten there, because there's so many, as I say, passing it on. That's what I used to do at the workshops, passing on whatever knowledge I picked up. And a lot of it I picked up strangely. You wouldn't believe it. And it's just a matter of, I think, the way I got going from the beginning, if we can talk about that. When I was 7 years old, and I hope you can see this.
I'll just mention that. Okay, so the top of your head was getting cut off when we were on full screen. Maybe we can fix that. Okay, what do we have here?
Can you see this?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. That's a drawing my dad did in the 1930s for my mother. She loved Ronald Colman, so he did this picture of him. That was the first draw I saw when I was 7 years old, and at that very moment, I decided to be an artist.
Wow.
I didn't know artist and this and that. I knew that that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I have that.
And so your dad was an artist.
He was an artist, and he kind of got me going with the sketches and so on, the things that little doodles and such, through the schools. And in fact, in the schools, in the high school I went to, even the teachers understood my idiosyncrasies. When I was supposed to be sitting there doing this and that, I was drawing pictures on the pages, and they'd walk by. And eventually they started giving me money to go to a movie theater. I passed all the grades, but if there was a Latin class or chemistry, go watch a movie, Harley. And then I went out and got a job after grade 12. I don't know if you want all this. This is a very.
Oh, we do. We want to hear it all.
After grade 12, I went out and worked at a display company. And my dad, I was working there every day, $150 a month. And my dad sat down in front of me one evening and he said, Harley, I said, I love art. Do you like art? I love art. He said, I'm going to give you a choice right now. And you got 5 minutes to come up with the answer. You can go back to work and do this, but I'm going to start charging you rent. Or you can sign in tomorrow to the art college for 4 years, and you're here for 4 years and pay nothing. I'm giving you 5 minutes. Within 1 second, I said, I'm signing up to the art college. And the next day I told the boss, he said, you artists don't make a living. You'll be back here begging for the job. Anyway, I did go up to the art school, and it was quite an amazing, I mean, I can tell 3-hour stories about the art college and what it did.
What was
And
the art college? Where was it?
it was in Calgary, at the College of Art up there, the Southern Alberta Institute of Art and Technology. And that's where I went. And that's where I got my first kind of grounding, and along with my dad. And I started for the first time looking at, I had always the years, Rembrandt and so on. The one picture that stuck with me, and to this very day, the Mona Lisa. And of course, portraits by Rembrandt. And there's a lot to be thought about those. There's more than just portraits and figure drawings.
What do you mean?
Well, how he did those portraits, the angles, the shading. And of course, that's one of the better, if you really want to look at those, lost edges, soft edges, lost edges. The lost edges where dark hair would go into the background, or the shadow under the neck. A baby understands lost edges because when you're a child, you see your mother coming into the dark room to give you whatever, bring something, and all you see is light and dark. All the dark is the edges are gone. So when you're a baby, you understand all of these things. So an artist doesn't have to put in the edge to make sure okay, that's the cheek edge. The cheek can go into the shadow as soft right there from the light to the dark. And often the artists say that one little place where the light goes to the dark is the richest color. It's neither in the lightest light and the darkest dark. It's if it's a cheek, it's a little rosier there, then it goes into the dark. I don't know how lighting is.
Some people call that the bedbug line.
Well, there we are. But there's I could go on with my life. Clint Eastwood, if I can quote him, my life is loaded with coincidences that happened. Most you would not believe, but a lot of it has luck to coincidence, right time. And I remember Clint Eastwood was asked, Mr. Eastwood, did luck have a lot to do with your career? And Clint Eastwood said, absolutely. He said, but when it happens, you better be prepared.
Yeah.
And
so before we get into the 7 essential truths, what I'd like to understand, Harley, is what were a couple of the seminal moments in your career? Because I think that there are a lot of people watching who would love to take it to the next level in terms of being able to make a living selling their art, or having a belief in themselves that they can even do it. What were a couple of the moments that kind of transitioned you to being, you're out of art school? What then transitioned you to being able to kind of make it?
I can make this into a kind of a simple thing. Erase the word hope. Use that if you say, I hope grandma gets better, but don't hope for yourself. Do. And I'll explain that. The teachers at the school said, Harley, we're not going to do it. They said the last year I was doing portraiture, certain ways of it. And they said, you'd be doing yourself a favor by, going out and on your own. So they led me out the door, and I want to thank them for that. I was out in the parking lot, and I looked at the city, Calgary, and I said, okay, it's me and you. The next day, and I said, at that moment, I am going to be an artist, period. That was it. I wasn't going to hope. I was going to be. And the next day, I went and got a peddler's license and started knocking on doors. Bang, bang, bang. Hello, I'm an art student. And I'd show pictures, and and they'd slam the door. 35 doors, and finally I got the first door, $1 profile portrait, and it just came from there. So you have to be absolutely committed that you're going to be an artist, and also with that, keep the prices low, bend over backwards to please whoever you're selling to. That's the first moment. That gets erased very soon after. But you have to start low. You never want to lower your prices, but you can raise them. My first profile portraits in bars, they were 50 cents a piece in the saloons and at the fairgrounds, but they went up to $2, $4, and then $35 and so on.
Well, you got to tell the story about what you discovered painting in a bar.
How I discovered?
No, what you discovered.
Oh, that is so special. Always doing sketches, 9B pencil, people in the bar, and they fold them up and put them in their pocket, the portraits. Anyway, one time I got I think it was 8 or 10 pastels, just cheap little things. There's chalk. And I thought I'll do pastels this time in the bar. And I started with my pad and I started putting down colors. In my eyes, my head started buzzing. And I do mean it was buzzing when I was putting down these strokes. And then I'd rub it a bit. And then I could put another stroke on top. Totally brand new feeling for me. And I was actually shaking. And I was doing one portrait after the next. Not good, let me tell you, because I was still getting used to how it worked, the feel of it. That day, that night, the next day, one day was oils and pastel. The next day, oil and pencil, and the next day, pastel. I went out, I think I probably borrowed money, went out and got a whole set of all the different colors, got the paper, got everything from the art supply place, and from that day on, mainly pastels, 98%. Once in a while, somebody wanted oil, I'd do it. But the pastel excited me beyond. I cannot tell, well, you pastel artists know what I'm talking about. And to this day, to this very day, when I set up and do a pastel, I'm as excited now as I was that first #1 day.
So let me ask you a couple of questions about that. Do you still do anything other than pastel? Do you paint in oil or watercolor?
I did a watercolor, did several watercolors, but that's another world. And once in a while, if somebody really wants an oil, but God, I think in the last 2 years, I think I did one oil or two. It's all pastel now. I live and breathe pastel, and I got every make in the world.
So I have a theory, and I'd like to get your opinion on this theory. People are always asking me, we have a lot of people who watch who say, I want to learn how to paint. And, I always kind of started them out with, okay, you need to learn values and so on and drawing. But what I realized is that if somebody's attacking paint right away, I remember when I was trying to learn oil paint, it was totally intimidating because I didn't know what kind of oils to use or cleaners and all that stuff. And of course, I now am an oil painter and I now know it. But I think, the idea of mixing colors is kind of intimidating, chemicals and mixing things with a brush and laying it on. And I'm wondering, I kind of think that as an artist, a starting place, because we all played with crayons when we were kids. And I think pastel is like adult crayons, right? It's more vibrant. It's pure pigment. It really does vibrate. And I think that that's a really great place to learn to paint for the first time. And then, of course, you're going to get to the next level and the next level by learning how to layer and mix the colors on there. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know about starting off with pastels. I did crayons, of course. But what I loved about pastel, you get the colors right there, grab it, bang. You could you don't have to wait for drying and this and that. And you put another color on top. It's just a matter of how how it does things that takes a little more time mixing the right, with the oil paint. And I did like oil paint at the time. I got a couple here that I'll show you that was the same. My pastels are almost the same technique, brushwork and so on. In fact, I have right here, a self-portrait. You may get a laugh out of this. This is my serious day with oils. Do you see it?
Can you hold it up a little higher? Wow.
That was serious Harley. When you're an art student, you have to have that serious look.
You look like a movie star.
Going in, well, I don't know about that. But that's an oil, and I just blobbed it down on there. And then here's another one I'll show you. And it's the same technique as I do with pastel. I did this a while ago.
And that's an oil?
And that's an oil.
That's beautiful.
Well, thank you. So it's that kind of a thing that, and then here's another more refined oil. Just throw it on the floor.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice.
So, that's an oil that, there's a certain thing about oils that are great fun.
Well, I think that what I also have found is that a lot of the great artists dabble in a lot of different things, because there's a moment when oil might be more appropriate than pastel, which might be more appropriate than watercolor. I have found, since I started doing these online events, I felt obligated to learn these other mediums I wasn't painting in. And I find like I'm freer, right? So now I'm able to do pastel, I'm able to do watercolor, I'm able to do oil, I can do gouache. And these things have really stimulated me, get me more excited about painting overall, because sometimes you get bored and it's nice to have something to kind of get you reinterested.
Well, I'm a one-track guy when it comes.
Are you?
Yeah, with my medium. It's strictly to me. I love doing pencils as well. Anything along with that immediacy of what you do with pastels. I can do a pastel, roll it up. In the good old days, when I had big shows I had to do, I rolled it up and send it off to the dealer. They would frame it. I just like the whole feeling of the pastel.
Yeah, nice.
And with the people watching this, with pastel, if everybody watching this had the same face, the same light and shadow, and had the same face in front of them, everyone would be slightly different. It's like we have different
fingerprints.
Well, fingerprints and features of our own face. We have different personalities. All of these things come out, and the beauty is that we're all different, and we should allow that. When I was young, I was influenced by Rembrandt and so on, and looked at their work and how they did this and that. And people would say, "Oh, you don't want to." Certain people would say, "You don't want to copy him, this and that." And it was maybe like a surgeon learning from a brilliant surgeon, going forward. But you eventually your heart gets into it so much, your confidence comes in, and your own self comes out onto the paper. People maybe didn't know it was a Harley Brown years ago. I don't know. I've never asked. But you can sure see that it is now. A lot of people go to art shows and they can spot mine from the other side of the room. So to become yourself, it takes a little while. Like when you're going through all the schools and the different levels, as you get older, you shuck aside all the things you think are cool and you become yourself. And that confidence comes also with your drawing and your working out values. And I think values is on the top of the list.
Okay, well, this is a good way to transition into the list of the 7 essential truths. So let's talk about values.
Well, values, everybody knows light to dark. And if you screw up values, no matter how well you draw with the reflected light, with the shadows, with the background, all of that lights and darks. And I would suggest that anybody who's a little off on that, concentrate deeply. If you're working from photographs or real life, make sure that you're getting those values right. Sometimes the dark looks darker if it's next to white, and the same other way around. Sometimes when a face is really light, the shadow looks darker than it really is. Sometimes I'll get a piece of black paper or something like that and put it next to the neck or from the distance. The light is often not quite as white as we think it is. A lot of people will put the highlights too light. So values, let's connect that with one thing. An artist friend, Donald Teague, friend of mine, the final thing I ever heard from him, I said, give me one word that I can take with me as I hopped into my car. And he yelled out, design. And design can't be design without values. And the number one, you can draw all sorts of wonderful stuff, details, this and that. Oh, that's wonderful. But it doesn't build up as a great painting without design. And he said that to me, and it's stuck with me. And you can do a wonderful head or a figure, but if somehow the background and the foreground aren't worked into like angles and maybe the horizontal and vertical, for stability and turnings and this and that, and having something in front, like for depth, you have the hand in front, you have a cat in your hand, you have somebody standing in front of a house, you have a building in front of the mountains or whatever, causing depth in a painting. And you have to understand that the value, say, of a mountain is much grayer and lighter than if you were standing right up against them. So the further away things go, the colors are grayed down slightly. You've got to be very careful about that. So that whatever's up close, a red apple would be a red apple. And then far in the distance, the person would not have big rosy cheeks and all of that. You would kill them. So that's all the depth area. But the values, you have to understand the values from close up to far away. And the value, when you look at a hand, you see the different things on the hand. A lot of people, when they do the light side of the face, then start putting that light part into the reflected light on the other side, which if it really is, okay. But most cases, the reflected light is down a bit, and it's not all the same. The reflected light may be lighter up here. So some artists will just go jump, 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 jump with the reflected light. If anything you take home with you or whatever is here, lighting on a figure, a face, can be drawn like crazy, wonderfully drawn. But the values on the face, the cheeks, the neck, the forehead, the arms, the folds in the shirt, the white shirt, red shirt, whatever. You can simplify. You don't have to make it photographic. In fact, many people say, I don't do realism. It's like a photograph. And I say to them, I'm not a camera. I'm an interpreter. Yeah. And much in the same way with the piano. People play exactly what Rachmaninoff wrote. Vladimir Horowitz played his third piano concerto, or piano concerto, the way he would play it, his interpretation of exactly those notes. An artist, as I was saying, if you had the same model in front of you, you couldn't help but make it yours. So it's not a photograph at all. It's a combination of subject and artist. Remember that, subject and artist.
Well, and so make it yours, I think is really important too. It's interesting. We have the plein air convention, and we'll be outside, and there will be 1,000 artists painting the same view, and every single one of them interprets it different. And it's so wonderful to see, and you see ideas that you've never thought of.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And
so values is one of your essential truths. What's next?
subjects. John Singer Sargent did a painting with just posts in it. Brilliant. There are artists that will do complex things, but without the design, the subject will flatten, be uninteresting. You walk through a gallery. Most people, when they walk through a gallery, they look around, and the subject could be interesting, but if the design, and sometimes color, but if the design is not there, subject, I have always figured, and I've tried to prove it to myself, any subject can be interesting. It depends on what you do with it. Like the plot of a movie. You can do a plot of a movie in one paragraph, but it depends on that plot right there that makes the music or the movie, it makes it work. You should be able to cut it down to just a few sentences. And the same way with the subject. If you want the person just to sit there with the hand, like that, or looking to the side like this, or just looking right straight. I have done it sometimes with the person, the subject, looking right straight at me. But what I would do around that person was what counted. But the subject, I say this, subjects are wide open to everything.
All right. So what you're saying is don't rely on your imagination, rely on your subject.
People should not use their imagination. What I'm doing, I'll tell you, I've done art all my life, but I will not fake an I'll stress them maybe. But if somebody took off and I hadn't finished off the nose area, I guarantee you I'd make a terrible job putting in that nose with the shadows. It would look fakey. It would look. One example was when we were out painting the ocean, and the artist got tired of putting in the pebbles and rocks, and he said, "I'm going to finish it off in the studio." So he did pebbles and rocks in the studios. Everybody looking at it said, "What the hell is in that?" He was trying to do them out of his head. I say this, with something representational like this, do not try to do it out of your head. Go and see those rocks. Go and see that forehead, the hair, even the hair. Don't fake it. Work from life or photograph.
So you've done a lot of plein air painting over the years.
A lot of people, you can let things disappear, in the background and so on. You don't have to put all the details in this. But if you use imagination, you're ahead of me.
Okay, but you did get out and do plein air painting, is that correct?
I have over the years. Okay, I'll show you this. I did this this was a painting in the coast of in Mexico. A quick can you see it?
Yeah, we could see it.
Yeah. And that was a quick. I've done my life when I had lots of activity and energy. Us artists would go all over the world and paint. We'd get people off the street and have them sit in a studio somewhere, even the workshops. There was a fellow in the Fiji walking by with a mule, and we asked him if he would stand there with his mule, and we did some quick drawings of it all. Working from life is, I've always felt that a novelist has to live life to put in the words, make it an interesting, real novel. And an artist, I think working from life is so important. Not all the time. I work from photographs, but working from life. Oh, here's one I did of in Trafalgar Square, the lion.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
And I did it different, I don't know if you want to see it. Oh, there's one I want to show you here. I did a lot of these. That's okay. Just let them go. Let them go.
We're getting some unexpected pleasures today. This is nice.
Well, bring that girl over on the left.
In case you guys are just tuning in, our guest is Harley Brown, and he's going to be going through 7 essential art truths, and he's showing us some work right now while he's gathering those up.
Here's one that shows a lot. This is done from life in at one of my workshops. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, now this was done very simple tones. Now, if we can do a close up there, can you see her face?
Yes, we can. Lift it up just a little higher. There we go.
Okay. Now her face is literally 2 values.
Right.
And it shows her expression. So in other words, your expression can be very simplified with, this is Pastel, of course, and she was sitting there, and of course it takes a little bit of tiny work to it, but you see the simple values throughout the whole figure, and yet the personality is there. So in other words, I didn't have to put all the details in.
All right.
In fact, let me just show you. I don't know if this can, no, I won't, it's too big. I was going to show you a portrait here in 2 values.
Okay.
And this, I may have to stand, I may have to stand back with this, but this is the perfect example of values. This is,
Okay.
now, I hope all this moving around is okay.
Yep, we're cool with it.
Perfect.
Brendo.
Exactly. And all you need is that value and that value. 2 values, and see how individual. Everybody watching this has that same great, grand thing about them, is that we're all slightly different. And like you say, you can tell it's Marlon Brando.
Outstanding. Okay, so let's get back to our 7 essential art truths, because I know some people have limited time. I want to make sure we cover those. So you said values, and you said relying on the subject. What else is next?
Oh, what would you like to think? Values, subject, design. We talked about design, I think.
Design. Okay.
If you want to really understand why Rembrandts are so good, is because the design he put in, not just the faces and the expressions in that, but the design he put into those are phenomenal. Look at those. Look at Feshion's work, Serov. But another thing, while we're talking about design, another thing, of course, is color. Now, let me put it, the Munsell color theory, everybody should get, period. Color in the Munsell color theory is 5 colors. Red, yellow, green, blue, purple. Not orange, red, yellow, green, blue, purple. Orange exists, but do it even. Red, yellow, green, blue, purple. In other words, the opposite of red is blue, green. Turquoise, blue, green. Not green, because green is too warm. Blue, green is cool enough for the red. Better. Many of the great artists of the turn of the 1900s, the late 19 in the 1900s, and the early 1900s, started to get into this. And also think in this term with color. Make a painting with value should not be equal light and dark value. It should be either mostly mid value, a lot of it dark value, kind of a dark street scene, or light value with some dark in it. But it should not be equal values. And the same with color. It should not be equally cool and warm. You see often with the French Impressionists, the cools with the skies, the mountains, the trees, the grass, and then they may put in a red barn. Now, all of these things I say, you can cheat on a little bit. The thing you cannot cheat on a bit is the design. So colors you can throw, and don't put colors on just for the sake of putting on colors. There's colors that are grayed down maybe at far reaches of the, where there's the greens there, but you kind of make them less intense. And when I'm doing a portrait, the richer colors are generally around the head, and they cool off a little. Sometimes I'll maybe cool it off as the cheeks go back. But color is important. And the Munsell theory, I picked that up a number of years ago, and it was, whoa, baby. It's not just somebody handing you a theory. It's a kind of a theory that means so much when you're starting to work it. You say, whoa, this is working.
Okay.
And so color.
All right. So I have my list of truths. The next one is universal principles. Will you talk about that?
Well, principles, universal. I don't exactly understand what that is, other than I think that
It
principles.
says anything we paint, the principles are basically the same.
Exactly. If I do a horse, I have one there, a horse's head, or if I do a still life.
Lovely.
I don't know anything about horses or lions or dogs or mules. I've done burros galore. I know, okay, this is a good one for you. I know nothing about anatomy. I don't know the anatomy of the face, but I do know light and shadow, shapes. So the thing is, if you can draw, and I think that people should take the time to be accurate. Accuracy is the most important thing when you're doing a portrait or a building. If you get it sloppy at first, you're going to have to fix it later, but you're going to have to fix it more complex. If the eyebrow is too high or the nose is too wide, you're going to have to paint it out and put it in. So get the accuracy first. Now, accuracy doesn't mean artificial intelligence or something like that. Accuracy means your accuracy. When I'm doing a personal portrait, it takes 3 times longer because it's a very specific face that I'm doing. Most of the time, a lot of the time, I will take a face and be able to push this and that and the other thing. But it is accurate in a human, personal way. So anything, people out there, if you can draw whatever, a dog, a bull, whatever you do with light and dark and shape and that, you can draw anything. If there's not people that can only do still life or just did still life most of their time, please go do a human face.
Okay, now talk to me about the illusion of depth.
Well, the illusion of depth is, like I say, when something's in front. My hand's in front of me, my head is back, my hand may be a little bit larger, the face may be a little slightly less detail, not necessarily, but as I say, things that go back, the illusion of depth, meaning graying down, killing the rich colors as things go into the distance, like the mountains, as I say. When you're doing landscape, the foreground, the rich, maybe a cabin or something like that in the foreground, and rather rich color, but as it goes far. Or depth is when there are some people together and some are behind others. It just gives the illusion of depth. And I think that's important, that the feeling of depth, without having a 3D camera. When you're looking at, for instance, once again, Rembrandt, or any of the great artists, figurative artists, when they have people in the distance and the people in the foreground, that is depth.
Now, you also on your list of essential truths, you put understanding edges. You talked a little bit about that when you were talking about Rembrandt. Do you want to get into a little bit more, excuse the expression, depth with the edges?
Well, can we somehow?
What do you want?
Can we
What one?
get? Let's see, that portrait. Okay, that portrait of me. Not
Hey, you guys, we're going to get to your questions in a few minutes. If you just hang in there with us, we also have some prizes we're going to give away.
Okay.
So just hang in there while they're getting this painting ready. Okay, now we have, ooh, that's nice.
Guess who that is? Look
Wasn't
at that.
that on the cover of your book, or wasn't that part of an article or something you wrote?
That was kind of me looking. That other one, a little bit
Paranoid.
friendly and a little self-possessed. Here's me, just Mr. Nice Guy. But see the edge, how soft it is going into the background? And the
Can
edge
we hold that a little closer to the camera? There we go. Good. All right. Yeah, you can see that disappearing edge there. That really has form, three-dimensionality. Okay, good. Now we'll let you go ahead and talk about it.
Oh, and putting in the shirt, can you still see it?
Yep.
Okay, now here, all that warm, put in a little bit of cool, but I naturally do that. It's almost like I don't want it all hot. I want something like that. And now you don't see all the hair on the whiskers. It's just shapes, but you know that that's a beard, a goatee, and there are whiskers there. You see now the forehead brightest, and then things go down a little bit. I put in the glasses, not exactly all around, but highlights, that's all you need. Little highlights, maybe a little edge here and there. The shadow going down the side, and then this reflected light, which is a cool light. There's a warm side, and that's kind of got a green cool look to it. So you see the difference in values. You see the design, boom, and then going up here for stability, movement down there. And the fact is that light against that dark, very sharp. Once in a while, you want to do that in a painting to make sharp areas. They're kind of fuds out a little bit. But the edge of the whiskers there and the side there, slightly sharp, a softer right in there. Teeth are tough to do, let me tell you. You really got to spend time with them. Don't make them look like false teeth. And the ear, a little lighter there, shaping it, taking my time. And you see where the head does go, fades right into the background there, fades right into the background there. So there. Oh, and as you see, it's warm there. The cheek is warm there, and it goes into the back. It's cooled right off.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Okay, so understanding edges is an essential truth.
Oh.
You also have getting it right from the start. Now, you talked about that earlier, but let's just go a little bit more depth on that. You said, don't be sloppy.
Don't get sloppy. Bring the tuba.
The tuba.
Don't get sloppy.
Are you going to play the tuba for us?
Can we do the
Piano?
Yeah, I want to show you something on the piano. Look at this. Can you see this?
Yeah.
That's the one and only tuba I ever done. But I had to be absolutely accurate with it. And it's a bit of a piece of art, I guess. But, with the shapes and all, this, I had to be extremely accurate with all of that. Down there. Can I do the piano to show you the similarities?
Yeah.
It's like George Balanchine. He does this choreography, but the ballerina puts her own into it. Now, I'm going to show you with the piano. Can we do this?
Yes.
Okay. I hope this works.
We're getting to see a lot of art today. This is very exciting.
Okay, now when I started out, can you see?
Yeah.
When I started out, it was, and the chords, everything, all of that. And then I had to learn, that kind of stuff. I've learned all of that, and then I've learned it all. And as time went on, I got confidence. And my confidence kind of, while I played piano, I shouldn't say.
You're 85, Daddy.
Okay, I played piano in a brothel.
Oh.
This is a classic moment. Wow.
what you do is you learn the techniques. You learn with everything when you're writing, when you're doing art, whatever you do, you know, you learn the basics. Then you go into the, you know, I haven't played the piano, believe me, I have not played the piano for 50 years. I quit playing in my 30s, and now I play Happy Birthday for the family, you know. And then, but there's other things that, when I was going to art school, it was people like Brubeck that impressed me. So I went through areas, concerts, Beethoven, you know, you know, his second piano concerto. Those things that just thrilled me. So I've spent massive amount of times with art, massive amount of times with my music. And my parent drove my parents crazy. And the teachers knew it. Everybody knew that there was a nut in town, and but I loved it. And incidentally, this is kind of a weird part. I was very, very shy. And I won't give you the story on it because it's too long. I became unshy in 1 hour when I was 19 years old.
What happened?
I had my first drink. And I became total eccentric. I did things that so eccentric that when I was married, I saw in a newspaper 3 words: Londoners are eccentric. I sold everything in the family. We moved to London, England for 2 years. Went to the Camberwell School. I was there. Things like that. There it is. I won't give you the details, but there was a film company wanted to do something about my life, dramatize it. And they saw my book Confessions, and they said, these are the very words. They said, Mr. Brown, Harley, your life was much too bizarre and nobody would believe it. And when I stopped drinking at 35, I then had confidence. So I didn't go back into shy, but I was no longer invited to parties. And I had nothing but time to develop my art. And I worked at it and had luckily, and a gift from heaven, I had one of the major artists in the States phone me up. He happened to accidentally see one of my pictures and invited me to a big art show in the States. And it went from there. I was able to follow through. So like Clint said, we have lucky things happen to us. Fortunate things happen to us. We better darn well be prepared when they happen and make them happen. The big thing is, do not hope. The main thing is do. If you're going to be an artist, be an artist. We got this one life, and that's what my decision was. There was a little while when I was a teenager that I wanted to one day play in Carnegie Hall and have the women look at me. I was that shy.
Well, what I want to do, Harley, is go through, just repeat the essential truths from the list that I've made here. One is rely on the subject. Don't rely on your imagination. Universal principles that anything we paint are basically the same. Illusion of depth. Accuracy is important. Color. You talked about Munsell. Design, and find value in values. Understanding edges, and then getting it right from the start. And I'm told that we've got a couple of bonus ones that you threw in there. One of them was excitement. Talk to me about letting your excitement show through your paintings.
Well, the excitement can happen, but you have to earn it. And at first I had an alter ego. That's something else. I did have an alter ego, and I can't get into him, but he did exist. No, he did exist. well, I, uh, I wasn't prepared. Well, oh
Well,
God.
let's not go there then, because we've got a limited time, and we want to
Okay,
make sure
we're
everybody.
not gonna, but okay, what was the question again?
We talk about excitement showing through your paintings.
Excitement is, you have to work at it. You're going to go through these serious times where you're really, but as it will slowly and really develop, very slowly, sometimes a little faster, depending on how much you put into it. But I was very kind of caught into what I was doing with a rather serious nature. But as time went on and I understood the lights and the values and the design and all of that, I felt inside of me glowing, radiating. And as time went on, and I felt this feeling, just rapture. And so even to right now, when I'm doing the excitement that I feel, you can see if somebody wants to get up close to it, they say, whoa, was he caught up in that one?
How do you, if you're not excited about your work, you're stuck. How do you pull yourself back to excitement?
Okay. I do a lot of, if I'm working on a big thing, it's a lot of labor. Oftentimes I will go to bed, and before I do some sketches, quick little sketches. You can't buy happiness. You can't find that you're going to get happiness going to a movie and that. You have to earn it. But in one way that I did, when things were not perfect for me and things were going downhill, I do a sketch, and I promise you that would be like taking a happy pill. Do a few of them. Don't try to get, it's just for yourself.
Great
and
idea.
Then do 2, 3, 4, and do something that you've never done before. Get that old vacuum in the corner, or a pot, or a flower, whatever.
Yeah.
And like I say, that is the happy pill. And boy, I can guarantee the people watching this right now tonight, get a pad out and do a quick sketch while commercials are on.
Okay, so next on the bonus truths, we have attitude. The greatest obstacle to most people isn't skill, it's attitude. You want to talk about that?
My attitude changed over time. My attitude was, I'm going to be an artist. An attitude, I guess, I wonder if that means also with your attitude with other people. And your attitude in life. And my attitude, but I never condemned myself for anything. I never looked down on myself or anything. I tried to do what was right for me. My attitude was, I have to say, ego-driven. And I think a lot of people saw my attitude as, they would never know my insides, but they'd look at me as very nice, gentle type of guy. But within was an absolute flaming dragon. And that was for many years. Now I've settled down a bit. It used to be that I'd go to Russia or Spain. Now I go to the grocery store. And so my attitude goes all over the place. If anybody watching this, you've got to get yourself some pads and get yourself some 9Bs, get kneaded erasers, and just have the joy of doing that. And that next day, and also make sure when you're going to bed that you solve some of the problems that you have with your work, so that when you get up, you feel, well, I've got that okay. Oftentimes, if I'm down on a picture, I'll walk away and come back to it. In those few moments, my brain cells somehow resolve it as I look at it. Oh, I see what's wrong.
Yeah, step away. Okay,
Yeah.
so the last bonus truth we have is don't paint for others. Talk to us about that.
Okay, now I cheated on that at first when I wanted to make the door to door. One person had me come in and do a mural on the wall for $35. So I cheated a bit in doing what people wanted. I want to get my mother, would you paint me a rose, Harley? I did, so I sold myself out, but I was still doing art. A lot of people looked, I have to say, looked down on me as having selling my soul type of a thing. And at the time, I didn't understand all of that, but I kept on doing it. And as time went on, I have done paintings just for me. I won't explain them all. I've got stacks of paintings just for myself. I would do paintings if a gallery wanted a specific bunch of paintings. I would go through what I've done that would be good for them specifically. I did, for many years, I did indigenous individuals. I lived in Calgary near the Sarcee Nation. I did a lot because they were right near me within blocks. And I did portraits, of course, nudes. I did hundreds, maybe thousands. And all of that I did, I say this to people, do not think, are they going to like this? Do not think that way. Are the viewers of the art, are they going to accept what I'm doing here? Be damned outside. When you're in the studio, when you're outside painting, it's you and your subject. Nothing else gets in your way.
Great advice. Harley, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip away to something else, then we're going to have question and answer here in a few minutes. This has been tremendous. What a historic moment to get to watch you play piano.
For the first time.
All right. Well, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Everybody hang in there. We're going to be giving away some big prizes and so on, but I want to tell you about something first. I hope you're enjoying things so far. We're going to tell you about a couple of things that we think are important for you to know about. And I think you guys have probably been making a lot of comments. It's been fun to see this. I think this has been really, really helpful for me. I'm hearing things from Harley that I've not heard from other artists before, and that's unusual because you hear a lot of the same things. But I want to tell you about something that happened. Talk about, doing something for others and versus doing something for yourself. The reverse has been kind of true for us, and that is that when COVID hit, we were going to be out of business. We had been in business for over 20 years, and all of our advertising dried up. All of our conferences were canceled. All of our retreats were canceled. Everything was coming to an end, and nobody was buying anything. And I was facing having to lay off my team, which I didn't want to do because they're a great team. But we were facing, the edge of bankruptcy. It was scary. And, I went home, I prayed about it. I came up with answers. And the answers I came up with was go online and start doing an online show every day. And the other answer was go start doing some online conferences. Since people can't travel, go do them online. And so we started and we launched a few. One of them that we launched was one of the latter ones that we launched was Pastel Live. And Pastel Live was all about getting the world's leading pastel artists to teach pastel over the course of 4 days. And I discovered something about myself that I think was really important because I felt obligated to learn these things because I was asking other people to learn them. I painted along, I watched intently, and I started playing with pastels, and that got me reinvigorated. It got my art reinvigorated. And now I'm like, some days I paint pastels, some days I paint watercolors, some days I paint oil, and I'm having a lot more fun than I was. And I'm also getting some things. One thing informs the other. There's a technique you'll learn in watercolor that you can apply to oil that I never even thought of before, but it was like the aha moment. So anyway, we have this conference coming up, and it's called Pastel Live, and we would like you to think about attending it. Now, you may not be a pastel painter. If you are a pastel painter, we think you're going to get better. If you're not a pastel painter, we think it will open up a new world to you. And also, I think that's a really great place to start learning to paint. So if I could just pull up the slides real quick about Pastel Live, I just want to tell you about it. So Pastel Live is online, and it's September 18th through 20th. Next slide. We start out with a fast start essentials day. This is for beginners and also for people who want to get refresher on the basics. And then we have step-by-step painting instruction. We have, let's see here, 25 top artists, 3 days of demonstrations, and a 4th day optional. If you're happy with your current progress, you don't need this. But if you're unhappy, you have to ask yourself, am I going to set aside time to learn? Am I going to invest in myself? Do I have the top experts at my fingertips, and can I have them? And do you want to increase your level of painting? I think that's one of the questions that we have. So if you don't use pastels, doing these new things will pull you out of a rut. You'll discover techniques you can apply to your own medium. There are times when only pastel is going to give you the effect you need. And most great artists master multiple mediums. I have control of the slides now, Carrie. Thank you. I have to admit that being as an oil painter, I was kind of ho-hum about pastels. Now I'm hooked, says Susan Hunter Gies, who attended. Pastel Live is the 18th through 20th of September. It was in August before. It was about next week in August, but we moved it because people were saying, you know, kids in school, summertime, travel, all that stuff. So we moved it to September. We have a world-class faculty. You're going to see the names of some of these faculty members here as we flip through and some of their work. And some of these people are legends, including Harley Brown is going to be on Pastel Live with us. And so you want to make sure that you get a chance to learn these different styles, different approaches, different methods. Everybody approaches things differently. Some are very deliberate. Some are very impressionistic. Some are very tight. The world's greatest artists, including Harley, but also Albert Handel, Barbara Janicki, Shondell Joyce, and so many others. And this is over the course of 3 days. You're going to learn portraits, you're going to learn figures, you're going to learn flowers, you're going to learn sunsets and skies. And there's just so many greats. Alan Picard, one of the greats, and Bill Schneider, one of the greats. Gail Sibley. This is really a remarkable lineup, and Lisa Skelly. So there's so many that you can learn from in different styles. And what happens is you gain confidence in a lot of other areas, and you start applying those things that you learned in other areas to the things you do. So I'm going to just quickly go through. It's the 18th through 20th. We have a 100% money back guarantee. You watch it and love it. If you don't like it, if you watch the first day and don't feel the first day you got your money's worth for the whole week, let us know by the end of the day. We'll refund all your money. We want you to know that you can take the risk and not have it be a risk. We have an Essential Techniques Day on September 17th. It's 1 day. It's an optional event. We have the 3 days, the 18th through 20th, with the top instructors as well. And here's what it looks like. This is the price if you were to do general ticket plus essentials. It's 4 days of Pastel Live, 7 days of replay, a private Pastel Facebook group, live breakout sessions, which is really important because it's a way you can get to know and meet other artists, including some in your own community. And we have paint-alongs during cocktail hour at the end. So the full retail price on September 15th is $1,194. The current price on the website is $594. The price for you today, those of you attending today, this is a today only price, it's $397. We want to give you an incentive to attend. If you went and studied under each of these artists, if you could, which you can't because a lot of them don't teach anymore, you're going to have a huge bill and you're going to have a travel bill. But this gives you a general ticket plus essentials day for $397. You're going to save $797. We have 3 levels. Each has different stuff with them. General and Premier. Premier has 60 days of replay. VIP has a year of replay. And Premier has some goodies with it. VIP has a lot of different goodies with it. A collector's hat and pin, sticker set, diploma, swag bag full of stuff, etc. Premier's our most popular. And this Sunday is the last day to get the collector's items mailed to you before the event. And same with the VIP. Sunday's the last day to sign up to make sure that you get those. So the prices respectively are $397, $497, and $1,097. So you're saving a lot of money on these. Today we have that special price. And we have a bonus for you if you sign up in the next hour. We're going to give you these videos. Doug Dawson. We're going to give you Liz Haywood Sullivan. We're going to give you Clark Mitchell. We're going to give you Jacob Aguilar. We're going to give you Mike Beeman and Sangeeta Padeke, plus Michelle Ashby, Vera Kavira. That's a $1,700 or $1,100 value. And we're giving that to you if you sign up in the next 30 minutes, because we want to give you incentive to get this done, because we know sometimes you need to be motivated to do things for yourself. We have that 100% money back guarantee for you. Your payment options, all of them: credit cards, PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay, Google Pay, MetaPay, Eric Pay, all pay. Payment plans, you can pay in Shop Pay and get payment plans in installments. You get 2 installments of 2 weeks with no interest, and so that's good. You're saving up to $797. If you check out in the next hour, you get the bonus demo videos, which is worth more than the price that you're paying. So you just click the link below and go to pastellive.com web if you can't find the link, and that will be all you need to do. And so I had to answer my phone there for a second. Sorry about that. Anyway, I think that this is a good time to do this. If we take just a little bit of light music, we'll put a little light music on and give you a chance to go ahead and fill that out now. We have had thousands, get this, thousands of people from all over the world attending Pastel Live. We've had people in 20 or 30 countries, a lot of people in English-speaking countries like Australia and England and others. And a lot of them are watching live in the middle of the night. A lot of them are watching, getting up early in the morning. Some of them are watching on replay. A lot of people who go to work will watch, when they can, and then they'll watch on replay. Or they'll watch a couple days live and then they'll watch, a couple days on replay. The nice thing about the replay is you get a chance to go back and watch things time and time again. The nice thing about being on live is you get to ask questions of the instructors, because those instructors are on the chat and they're answering your questions, just like Harley's going to be in a minute. So if you want to learn pastel or learn how to paint, or you want to learn how to get better, this is a great opportunity. And today is the only day you're getting this price. And today, in the next 30 minutes, are the only time you're getting the bonuses. So anyway, that's Pastel Live. And we're going to get back to Harley now. And we'll give you a little time after the broadcast ends. That's when the clock will begin for the bonuses. And so, Carrie Stober, first, would you come back on screen, please? Carrie, I think, what are we going to give away right after the Q&A?
I have a couple of pastel videos to give away and some upgrades for Pastel Live.
Okay. And I think, didn't we say we're going to give away plein air convention as well?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we're going to go nuts like we did last time where we kept giving away the farm, but let's get back to Harley and we're going to ask a few questions. Carrie's going to be the host for the questions. Harley, are you ready for questions?
Depends. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Harley, do you...
If it's about art, fine.
Harley, do you remember your first set of pastels? Do you remember what they were?
I think they were Rembrandt, way back. I think that's what they were. And I went through many, I have right now every brand in the world.
I think a lot of us are going to be jealous of that, because everybody would love to have all the pastels in the world.
It was Sennelier. The French, the Talons, I'm just trying to think of, every one that you can think of. I have right now, believe this or not, if I was encompassed in this house, I have enough pastels if I lived another 30 years. So there.
Wow. That's quite the collection.
So buckets.
So our next question is, who were the artists that first inspired you, and are there any artists that inspire you now?
The first artist when I was 7 was my dad. Give him my heart. And then I went on to, of course, Rembrandt, I would have to say, is amongst the first. And the early Russian artists from the late 1800s and early 1900s. There's so many now. The cowboy artists, Frida West, a lot of those artists are just, to me, right now, I'll say this. I think right now we are going through a classic, grand, great era of art. I'll put the art right now, many of the paintings of right now, up along with any of the old masters. You know, it's not like they're all from the past. Right now, we're going through a phenomenal time of great art. One after the other. Some my heart, you know. So there we are.
That's great.
I don't know if that was.
No, that was great. So our next question is, what surface do you usually paint on, and have you ever made your own surfaces?
The only surface, good question. Well, here's one that I did of a still life. I work with, how I start. Is this okay? This is how I start. Like that. And then I rub it down like this, you know. I may put some all over, and then, you know, I'll just start.
Do me.
What kind of paper is that, Harley?
Canson. You know, Canson paper.
You make it look so easy.
Oh, we'll give him a beard. Let's put a hat on him.
I want to tell you guys, this was unplanned. We didn't know he was going to do a demo. This is really terrific. Hang in there.
Then you put a white collar there and so on. Then of course you can, which I won't do, you know, then you can start putting in, you know, the lights and so on.
So that goes into my next question, which is color temperature in shadows and highlights. How do you decide what to do for those?
Well, for instance, the shadows, you know, as they come in there, I'll probably, even with the female, I'll sometimes cool it down on the side there. And the ears, I don't make those as rich, but there's areas that I'll cool. Men generally cooler down in there. And then, of course, the hat and the hair, there's a lost edge right there. This is in shadow up here. Big, tough guy.
So the last question we have is, when you were talking about getting it right from the start, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Lynn says that she finds that when she gets towards the end of her painting, it didn't quite turn out as planned.
That's why when you get it right, get that nose, the right length, get all of these details, the width of it, where the mouth goes, from there to there, all those things, get them right, and get the shapes right. You know, the get it right from the beginning. I made this too fast. You know, I should have done a little bit slower, but it's just kind of a quick little bit of fun. Actually, it's just two values on the face. This.
Janice wants to know what your feelings are on sanded paper.
I used to use it almost all the time, but I use that only now for little children because sometimes the texture is not the texture of this is better for grown-ups, but I use sandpaper. I used to use it almost all the time.
And do you work from life or do you work from photos when you're doing your portraits?
Mostly photos. I used to almost all the time work from life, but now I don't run around in that. I take photographs of people, but now I work mostly from photographs.
Well, I'm going to have to have you do my portrait for the magazine. All the other greats have done it. So
Got it.
I'll show up in your living room.
Harley, I have one last question for you is, do you use fixative?
I do, and I use it at the first part. That's a good question. I use the fixative at the first part when I'm working, for instance, here, if I want to build on top. But I do not use it at the end because it kills the color and a lot of it. But the very first part, yes, very lightly, and then I can work on top if it's a rich color, or if it's a color that I've laid on, rather than have it mixed with the color I'm putting on, I have it fixed so that I can give a good, clean sweep.
Wonderful.
Harley, I think that we're probably coming up on, we're an hour and 50 minutes. I think probably we should call this to an end, but this has been phenomenal. I mean, first off, I learned so much from you today that I had never heard before. And as you know, I know a lot and have interviewed a lot of artists, and I never knew you were going to play piano, and I never knew you were going to paint for us. So this is like, you're just like getting lots of gold stars today, man.
Well, I thank you.
This has been a red letter day. We're so excited about this. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to turn this into a podcast as well. We're going to run this on the Plein Air podcast. This has been outstanding. Harley, do you want to give us a couple of final words of inspiration?
Well, I guess I'm on social media, you know, Insta and Face, and I let all my emotions out on those. But I say to the artist from now on, and I know there's many of you, know that you're an individual. Know that you're very unique. You don't have to copy. You start off maybe copying like the beginning surgeon, but then you become yourself. Yourself is very powerful, more powerful than you think, especially as you're developing your art. And it will become you. And you're much more wanting to go back to your easel. It's not an easier and create more. And if there's, I'm trying to think that there's, you know, if there's one thing that you learn from my good friend when he yelled out design, I went to way back to a workshop. I learned one thing at that workshop, and that made it worthwhile. When the artist, maestro, mentor said that shadows have less detail than the light area. And he said, if the shadow is the majority and there's just a little bit of light, then the shadow has the detail, and you take out a little of the detail in the light area, little parts of the light area. So in other words, you should not put the same detail in shadow as in light. That's with faces, that's with anything. So I feel if somebody learned one thing here, maybe the scales on the piano or something, if somebody learned one thing, then I'm happy. I am really happy because I love artists. I love the mind of an artist. I love the way artists say, that's what I'm going to do and be. And to me, I can't think of anything else on planet Earth that I would rather be than what it has. Everything we want. In fact, if you're a pianist and you make one mistake on the concert stage, then boo. In art, you can fix it up. If you do something wrong, you can fix it, as I did here. Art is also, you're with yourself. You're bringing yourself out in many ways. Visual. You're being kind to yourself, your mind. All of my art friends, the vast majority of them, the older ones, lived into their late 90s and their brain was still cooking. Their brain cells were always active. So if you're out there and you do art, you are not only inspired, you're not only inspiring yourself, but you're always going to be, your mind is always going to be working.
I think that is great advice, Harley. Thank you so much. What I want to do is just go through and reiterate what the essential truths are. Again, we have rely on the subject. There are universal principles you want to follow. The illusion of depth is so important. Accuracy is important. Get it right at the start so you don't fight it later. Understand edges. There is value in value. Stay excited. Have a right attitude about it. Don't beat up on yourself, and don't paint for others. These are all very, very valuable. And I love people to put into the chat what they think they learned. Harley, we're excited about having you on Pastel Live. We got so much more than we expected today. You are a showman. I think we need to have you go out by playing the piano one more time for us. Would you do that?
Ooh, what am I going to do?
And he hasn't played in 50 years. Are you kidding? Outstanding. Outstanding.
I haven't played that for 50 years, I promise you.
Wow.
Muscle memory. Wow.
I'm impressed. Imagine how good you'd be if you practiced.
I love.
Signal's breaking up here a little bit. Okay. Well, we lost him all of a sudden. Well, great timing to lose him. Anyway, thank you to Harley Brown, and thank you to his daughter who helped out with the filming. I don't know. He's just completely disappeared now. Maybe his battery went dead. So thank you guys for watching today. I think this has been very valuable. I learned a lot. I hope you learned a lot. And like we said, if you just take one thing away, I took about 6 or 8 things away that are completely different than what I've heard before. And I hope that this has been helpful. I hope we've contributed to you getting a little bit more enthusiastic about your art. And I just love what he said about be yourself, be an individual. Don't do it for other people. Do it for you. And so we hope you get excited and inspired. The Pastel Live, the special price is a today only price. And if you register within the next 30 minutes, looks like he's back. We're getting him back here for a second. But if you register within the next 30 minutes, you get the $1,000 worth of bonuses. Okay, we're bringing Harley back. There he is. We lost you for a minute there. We don't have the audio, but bye, Harley. Thank you. All right. Well, yay. Outstanding. All right. Well, Carrie, this was a red letter day. I think we better start giving away some stuff.
Yes. So I've seen some comments in the chat about some people who have not painted with pastels before. So the first video I wanted to give away was Brenda Boylan's Pastel Fundamentals video.
Okay.
So I think that's the one that we should give away. So if you are new to pastels, put new in the chat and we're going to pick a winner for this video.
By the way, I should just mention to everybody that all of our videos are available streaming. You can watch them on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, etc., Samsung TV. We have an app. You can all your videos are stored in your app, so you've always got them for the rest of your life. And of course, if you want, we still go old school as well. We still have DVD for people. But so you guys, when we give you one of these, you can choose if you want streaming or DVD. And so who's our winner? Carrie?
Our winner is Kim Albright.
All right.
Albright. Yay, Kim.
Okay.
And then the next video I wanted to give away is it's Bill Schneider's Pastel Painting Secrets video. And Bill was actually one of Harley's students. They are going to be doing a roundtable with Barbara Janicki at Pastel Live. So that's not something you want to miss. So make sure you sign up for Pastel Live. But for Bill's video, if you type secrets in the chat, I'm going to select a winner.
All right. Terrific. Bill's got about 7 videos with us, by the way. They're really awesome.
Yes, he does. I saw
we're going to have to talk Harley into doing some.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm not seeing secrets. Where are secrets? There we go. Let's do, ooh, wow, you guys are coming in hot. David Schonberger.
David Schonberger. All right.
Schonberger.
That's David.
If you have won Bill Schneider's video, make sure you guys send me an email at winner@streamlinepublishing.com so I can get you guys your videos. And don't forget, and actually, it's instead of 30 minutes, we changed it. It's an hour.
Oh, it's an hour. Okay.
Yeah, so it's an hour from when we end. They get to get the bonus videos.
Okay, thank you for that. And today's the only day on this special price. Okay, what else are we giving away?
So we have a couple of upgrades that we want to do. So these 2 ladies just bought a ticket during the webinar or during the event today. So we are going to upgrade them. So Carol Rollick, you have been upgraded to a premiere ticket for Pastel Live. You now get 60-day replays and some swag. And Sherry Reibolt, you have been upgraded to VIP status. So you get a big old swag bag sent right to you. So congratulations to Carol and Sherry.
Wow.
And
okay.
How do you want to pick our pace winner?
I'm sorry?
How do you want to pick our pace winner?
Well, I think that they have to say, I want to go to PACE. Plein Air Convention and Expo. That's PACE. Go into the comments right now. I want to go to PACE. If you already have a ticket, Then we'll give you your money back, or you can give the ticket to somebody else.
No, they got to bring a friend.
Bring a
'Cause Pace-
friend. That's more fun.
Yeah, Pace is the best. Okay, I want to go to Pace. Let's see it.
I'm not hanging upside down next year.
It is gonna be, let's see. Ooh, very, very, very fast. Kimberly Engel. That's the only one I could read.
Kimberly Engel. You're going to the plein air convention in Lake Tahoe.
Yay, congratulations. It's so much fun.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Why don't we give away, Carrie? Let's give away a pair of value specs to help people see their values.
Let's do it. Let's go.
So they have to put value specs.
Value specs in the chat.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Okay. Here we go.
Come on, come on, come on. It's still showing Pace.
All right.
It's slow. Value specs goes to Anna P. Anna P, you need to send me an email, winner@Streamline Publishing, to get your value specs.
Okay, one more thing. All right. I had to go get this off my studio easel, but let's give away an easel brush clip as well. So
Okay.
let's do that.
You have to
Ship
type
it to you.
easel in the chat to get one of the easel brush clips, which are super great to hold your pencils and brushes. And if you're like me, they hold my blenders and value specs for my pastel.
All right.
The winner is so slow today. Gary Alsum.
All right,
Gary
Gary.
Alsum, you are the proud owner of a brush clip.
Okay. All right. Do we have anything else to give away, or did we give it all away?
Nope, we gave it all away, and just remind everyone that we have the bonuses for the next hour, and then there will be a replay of the event as well.
Carrie,
Yes.
this was a really special broadcast. I mean, I did not expect to get so much out of this, so much of Harley's generous time. I didn't expect to get him to play the piano
Or do a demo. That's awesome.
or do a demo. And so I think, just in celebration, let's give away one more ticket to the plein air convention.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
Let's see. Who's it going to be?
It says they have to say Pace. They have to go back in and say Pace. And Harley, if you're listening, you can be our guest at the plein air convention.
Oh, yeah. That'll be awesome.
We'll even put you on stage if you want to go on stage.
Okay. Pace, pace, pace. Let's see who it's going to be. Vicky Marcy. Vicky Marcy. Congratulations, Vicky Marcy.
All right. Well, Carrie, thank you so much. I want to thank Harley Brown. I think Harley's listening in the background. And I want to thank his daughter, who has worked all the cameras and set everything up and coordinated everything and made it all happen. And I want to thank Sky Fallon for introducing us and getting us directly to Harley to make this happen. So thank you all for this. And thank you guys for tuning in. We know that we're offering you something special today and a special price, but we also want to make sure that we're offering you value, whether or not you're part of that, we would love for you to come, but if you don't come, that's okay too. We just love the fact that we're able to get together as a community and focus on helping you get more out of your art, more out of your happiness. When I started painting, my life changed. I hear this a lot. I have a lot of people say, I have a really stressful life. I have a stressful life, a business life, a lot of employees, a lot of things going on. And when I started painting, it was about, I don't know, it was about 40. And it changed everything, because I could have a stressful day and I could go into a studio or a back bedroom or wherever I was painting and completely lose my stress. But it also changed me. It changed my heart. I can drive down the road and look at a sunset in a different way, or I'm looking at light as I see things. And I always tell the stories with some broadcaster friends in Boston. And I said, hey guys, look at the way that bright yellow light is hitting those red bricks. And they're like, are you nuts? So this can change you. And if you're not an artist already, or if you're thinking about learning it, just know you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. Believe me, because I couldn't put two stick figures together. So give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is you will have tried something, and chances are you're not going to fail, because this is stuff we're going to show you how to do it. And if you join us for Pastel Live, it's going to be a great opportunity to learn and to grow and to get better. So I want to thank the entire Streamline team. There's a lot of people involved in putting this all together. So no names right now because there's so many of you, but thank you. I love you guys. We couldn't do it without you. Carrie, thank you again, and thanks to Harley Brown. And last but not least, thanks to all of you for tuning in. I hope that we didn't disappoint. I certainly am not disappointed. Harley just really delivered, and what a generous man. I hope that you'll all go follow him on, and he said InstaFace. I think he means Instagram and Facebook, but what a great name. And so go follow him on InstaFace, and send him a nice note and thank him for his time today, and his generosity. You've got 1 hour from right now, 1 hour from right now, to be able to get those special bonuses. And remember that special price is for today only. Thanks again. Bye-bye.